Iowa Hawkeyes, who won 86-77 over Rutgers. Rutgers scored 77 points. That's impressive for them, but their defense just wasn't up to the task against a really good offensive team in the Iowa Hawkeyes. Kent, what were some of your thoughts in this game?
I didn't. Once again, there's one of the two games I didn't get to watch all the way through, but Iowa, to me, like just watching what I have watched and what happened in this game so far, or what happened in this game, kind of difficult to figure them out because they're so potent offensively, which they have been now for a couple of years. I just don't understand how we can't get college basketball players to simply try harder on defense. Is this too much to ask for them to just do a little bit more on defense? I just don't get it. I will say I thought Rutgers was going to win this game. I thought this was one they could go steal. So I'm happy that Iowa was able to get the job done at home. I also do get $1 from Iowa's NIL every time I mention Tony Perkins. So that's another $1 right there. So thank you, Tony Perkins. No, I just really like his game. I'm not really like that big of an Iowa fan. I just really like him as a player. But yeah, it's weird because they do beat this Rutgers team, which for me, I think Rutgers is, as a fan base at least, and this could be way off. Maybe it is. I think they're really focused on next year at this point. I think that every time they win this year, they're like, yeah, this is great. This is a bonus, but everyone in chill. Let's wait for next year. And I think that that's what they should be doing. If I was a Rutgers fan, I would be. So I don't think that they're very hurt by this loss. But for Iowa, how do you win this game, but you lose to Michigan at home? I that's the one I can't figure out. It puts my brain in a blender because Michigan's terrible. So, yeah. Can they get some stops there and keep scoring the way that they are? And if they can, maybe they can move up the standings a little bit, but it just doesn't seem like they care to. So at this point, I think that they're just a middle of the road pack in the Big Ten, or a middle of the pack team, I should say, in the Big Ten. And they're going to stay there until they start playing some more defense.
Well, Iowa put the full court press on Rutgers for I think most, if not all, most of this game, and that was really their best defense.
So they were trying to play some defense this game then.
But once the ball got over half court, that was kind of when the defense stopped. But credit to Fran for putting the full court press on them, and it worked. They got some turnovers and were able to get some baskets, so that helped the Iowa offense in addition to everything else. But overall, I think it just showed really good stuff from Ben Krikke, however you say his last name. Krikke. I really like the way he played in this one. The new starter, I think, Owen Freeman, him being able to do what he does. I really like his game. He's impressive. Russ, what were some of your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so you mentioned CBB Analytics, and one of my favorite features about them is they don't just give you the stats and of any range, any stat you want, but they add in percentiles. So for those that don't know what that is, it basically tells you where that stat ranks against the rest of the country. So you don't look at that and go, hey, is 15 assists a game good or bad? You can see, oh, that's 98th percentile or that's 37th percentile. And they also color shade it, so something that's really good is going to stand out in bright green and something that's really bad is going to stand out in bright red. When you look at Iowa's defensive stats, there's one thing that stands out in red, and that's what you just talked about in the Ohio State game, and that's offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding. They cannot rebound the ball on defense to save their lives. Rutgers had 17 offensive rebounds in this game. So Iowa steals the ball great. They play a great press. They do a good job getting a stop initially, but they just can't box out and get that rebound. If they could shore up their defensive rebounding, I think that they would be a top half of the Big Ten team. I really do. But that's the one thing that stood out to me. One thing that stood out to me good about Iowa was Owen Freeman. Like you said, he might be one of my favorite non-Purdue players because I think his nickname should be Mr. And One. I think they even said that on the broadcast at one point, that he just goes up strong. He plays strong down low. And I don't know if there's a guy that I'd be more afraid of, other than maybe Zach Edey because of his size, to like try to stand on there and take a charge on as they're going towards the basket than Owen Freeman. Because he was playing some good minutes for them. But they're also not very deep. That's the thing that stood out to me. They had only 6 bench points. And when you have a team that much of your scoring is coming from your starters and really 4 of your 5 guys, if you're playing a team that can match up well with that, that's where you can see the night and day switch for Iowa, where they can look really good on a team that they win those matchups, but a team that can slow down their stars a little bit, or maybe you get 1 or 2 guys in foul trouble, it can look really bad for Iowa.
Yeah, for sure. I think Payton Sandfort in this game was great for them to be able to do what he did. He's not always been consistent to be able to do that, but 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in this one. That's really good for him. I think he was a huge piece in addition to the lack of bench points, like you pointed out, Russ. There wasn't a whole lot flowing from there. So anytime you can get Payton Sandfort going and have him help out the offense like that, it's really, really positive for them to be able to do that. Kent, did you have any thoughts on the full court press? And if you like that from Iowa, do you think that's something they should stick with? Do you think that's maybe just like something they use against Rutgers and maybe don't use against other teams? What are your thoughts on that for them?
I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see this game in its entirety, so I didn't see that. But I do like any effort that McCaffery's putting into trying to get stops. He's got to try something. So I appreciate the effort, definitely. I was glad to hear that from you, actually. They should try anything. I mean, maybe start double teaming some guys like they used to do Steph Curry back in the day, maybe. Just double team the best player, let the other 4 guys or other 3 guys play a zone. They should try anything because they got to start getting some stops. If they're going to compete at the higher end of this conference, like I said, they can beat Rutgers at home. That's fine. But you're also, the way that they're playing right now, you're also going to drop to teams like Michigan at home, which is,
right,
to me, unacceptable.
Yeah, for sure. Russ, as far as Rutgers goes, obviously, lost to Iowa, Ohio State, and Illinois in the Big Ten. They don't have a Big Ten win yet, so that's not looking good for them. Is this a Rutgers team that, the fans just should be looking forward to next season because this isn't it? Or what are your thoughts on Rutgers for the rest of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you put it pretty well there that it's a team or a fan base that should look to next year, but I think it's going to be a nervous year for them because I don't know what the cutoff is for putting your name in the transfer portal or withdrawing your national letter of intent and changing programs. But that, I said that a couple weeks back that, Rutgers, their biggest priority really should be making sure they keep that great class that's coming in next year intact, because in this day and age where it seems like guys can change schools by the week, until that guy's in the jersey and on the court for your team, I wouldn't count him as being a player for your team yet.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.